Welcome to the end of day review for Tuesday the 26th of March 2024. I'm doing this end of day review about 20 minutes, about 40 to 50 minutes before the end of the trading session, and it's just because there aren't any trading opportunities presenting for me, so I'll go through the day and we can discuss what had happened. So as usual, starting off with the economic calendar, I think the one news event we were concentrating on was this 4 p.m. USD consumer confidence, and we were hoping to validate a New York high of the day or low of the day with this. Since most of the opportunities were too short, especially on GBPUSD and EURUSD, we were looking for positive USD news to then support shorting EU. Whilst this news release did support shorting USDCAD, unfortunately USDCAD made a London high of the day, and we don't trade based on London high of the day, so that eliminated any potential opportunities on USDCAD. Just keep this in mind, the fact that USD red folder news was negative at 4 p.m. As we go through it, and I'll mention it as we go through the analysis as well. So having said that, starting off with the daily chart on GBPUSD, there wasn't 3 consecutive bearish candles, so there wasn't any daily bias from a daily perspective, and thus we relied on the 4H to understand the 4H narrative. As I've been saying for a while, we're in an unconfirmed scenario because from a market structure perspective we don't have a confirmed bullish or bearish trend, and for that reason we currently have 2 legs that we are concerned with, the one being the pro-trend unconfirmed leg being that leg, and then the other being the pro-trend previously confirmed leg that was validated once we 4H body broke this OB right here, and that validated this leg right here. So for that reason we have the pro-trend confirmed leg, which was reacted to, and that brought us into the pro-trend previously confirmed leg, a primary 4H OB that we are currently reacting to and potentially going to go to the downside, but that remains to be seen. So positioning ourselves for this morning, like I said, there was reason to long. However, by the time Frankfurt opened, we actually tapped into this, and it was much simpler in the London session to look for shorts. And then for the New York session, there was scope for both shorts and longs depending on the news release. But unfortunately, what had happened is, as you can see right here, we had the Asia low, and now New York's putting a new low of the day, but this is subsequent to the news release. The news release was at 4 p.m. my time, so because the news release is subsequent, the news release was before when the New York low of the day was formed. We are unable to validate when this New York low of the day will form, even though that we have confirmation that the likely direction from a fundamental perspective is to long. There's just no way of validating where this low of the day will stop. So for that reason, trading opportunities going forward are pretty much limited for GBPUSD, or pretty much none for the day. And then in terms of finding a short position, again we had a London high of the day, and we were hoping that New York would create a new high of the day, and then we'd have positive USD news to support the shorts, and that didn't materialize. So that's GBPUSD in a nutshell. We had reasons, like I highlighted in the London outlook, to trade both directions, but as you can see, neither direction really meets our trading plan as it stands. So that's pretty much GBPUSD, and now we'll move on to EURUSD. So with regards to EURUSD, it's far more complicated than I initially understood, and I guess we'll break it down here. But from a daily perspective, there isn't any daily consecutive bearish or bullish candles, at least not 3 of them, so from that perspective we don't have a daily bias. And then if we move on to the 4 hour, what we can understand is that we're in a similar situation in terms of market structure to GU, where we've changed character but haven't yet committed to that to the downside, so we haven't yet validated that the bears are in control, and thus we operating in an unconfirmed scenario. However, I mentioned complexity when I started this, and what I meant by that is that there are multiple legs at play. Currently, there's the pro-trend confirmed leg. Sorry, the pro-trend unconfirmed leg, and it's unconfirmed because we've only changed character and we are yet to break structure right here. So for that reason, we have that one leg, being the pro-trend unconfirmed leg. Then we have a pro-trend previously confirmed primary leg, and then from then on, we've got a pro-trend primary leg, which has developed as a result of the pro-trend unconfirmed reaction, which is now this leg. However, what we can see for today is that we've also got a secondary leg that has developed. Under normal circumstances, secondary legs and their OBs don't hold any substance, and what that would have meant is that any of these OBs that would have been validated right here wouldn't be traded from a long perspective, because they are part of a secondary leg and there's no reason to believe that they will hold, and thus that would have ended the story there, making it quite simple in the sense that there's only reasons to short, and we'd only short until the substructures. The substructures remain valid significant targets, and that's how we'd position ourselves. However, there's a third complexity point in this scenario, in the sense that we've got a higher high, a lower low, a lower high, with the expectation that the lower high will create a lower low. This means that there's a scenario that can be validated in terms of an unconfirmed lower high target, and that essentially requires that on the 4-hour we change from an order flow perspective, we validate that demand is in control in order to be able to target this. And how we do that is that on the 4-hour we have a change of character, which we have right here. You can see we got this change of character. After the change of character, we have a pullback, and then we have a break of structure that is candle body broken, which then meant that this OB, this 4H OB right here, is a significant barrier that we cannot trade against. And this is a key detail that I missed in my trading for today. So you'll recall from the New York session, I said that I made a mistake and I didn't take this barrier into account, and that's the reason why I didn't why I said that the trade I took was invalid. What I did mention is that the substructure high was achieved in the current day and that longs were invalid, and that still holds true. However, this is a barrier, not a CPP, under unconfirmed higher low validated, unconfirmed low high validated scenario. And that's purely based on the fact that now we've got reason to believe that price will come up here in target. So we've got the secondary leg. Obviously what then transpired is we had a Frankfurt high of the day. The Frankfurt high of the day was validated by London with this week right here, and I put this order on, failing to take into account the fact that we've got this barrier that we can't trade against, and this made this trade invalid. So I just want to mark this out quickly. This is an invalid trade because trading against barrier as a result of unconfirmed lower high validated secondary leg, and that resulted in a loss that in all fairness should have been avoided. However, I missed the complexity, and I think I can attribute that to the fact that I'm transitioning into trading 3 pairs and there's a lot more going on. So from that perspective, I can understand why I took this loss. It's not completely out of character or the fact that I'm being lazy or complacent. It's more so the fact that I'm adjusting. So that's this loss. And then obviously then we had the London high of the day, at which point we know that we don't trade based on London high of the days. We were waiting for a New York high of the day, the New York news to then validate that the New York high of the day will hold. We'd have a chalk validation to validate that this leg will follow through, and then we could trade with the objective of targeting this. However, New York news was actually negative for the USD, supporting further upside, and that wouldn't have materialized anyway. So one invalid loss for Euro USD, no trades for GBP USD, and then we can move on to USD CAD, which is far simpler than Euro USD. So starting from the daily, what we've got here is what we've got here is no three consecutive bullish or bearish candles to indicate a daily bias. So from that perspective, there isn't really a reason to take a daily bias from the daily, and then we move on to the 4-hour to interpret a higher time frame narrative based on the 4-hour order flow and market structure. 4-hour market structure is much cleaner. We've got confirmed bearish move. We've recently interacted multiple times with the Proton Extreme. The latest interaction has broken the pullback phase last point of supply, and thus there's only reason to short, and that worked out quite well. However, from our trading perspective, instead of having a Frankfurt high of the day, the market created a London high of the day. This London high of the day, unfortunately, cannot be traded based on our data collection. The fact that London-based high of the days are generally bad or don't give positive outcome, and the fact that they generally don't follow through. So for that reason, I wasn't interested in trading. And then obviously we had negative USD news further supporting trading to the downside. However, again, we have a London high of today, and I can't validate trading it. So from that perspective, that's pretty much USD CAD. No available opportunities for me, although we did get the daily direction correct. So that's the end of day review. The Euro USD was really really quite challenging, and not ideal at all. So from that perspective, I hope you had a good trading session and trading day, and we'll chat again tomorrow for the London outlook.